Hi everyone, my name is Lacey Susan and this is what I would have done for the promotion of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 1. So just before we get underway with this video, I do want to say this video in no way is meant to smooth over or ignore the fact that there has been some incredibly troubling and damaging racist shit that's come out about some of the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. So yes, this video is not meant to be minimizing that or sweeping that under the rug. And where possible, I've tried to just bring back the focus onto the rest of the girls because I think there are some fucking amazing talents in here. And yeah, I feel bad for them for the amount of time and effort in the middle of a fucking pandemic they would have put in to finally have their moment come out and then to have it marred by this really fucking shitty behavior. Anyway, on with the show. Bye. So first things first, I'm super excited for the release of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. I actually can't believe it's finally happening. We've been waiting for 10,000 years. And if you had told me 10,000 years ago that both Ru and Michelle were going to be coming down to shoot the whole damn thing, you could have bowled me over with a feather. You could have shocked me with a cattle prod. You could have put a wig on me and called me Shirley. I don't know. I would have been shocked. So they've shot the season and the promotional material is starting to come out, which is great because who doesn't love a good bit of promo, right? I'm not going to dwell too much on the existing promotional material, mainly because I would like to one day be on this television program, and this is perhaps not the best way to ingratiate yourself with series producers. But I think everyone can admit that there might have been some small elements worthy of improvement. Like this, or this, or this. She's wearing a clear skirt, guys. Seeing the white wall on the other side of a clear skirt is not... Anyway, I get it. I understand. Time was tight. They didn't have a lot of money to work with, I can imagine. And updating your Adobe Photoshop membership is expensive. God, it's so hard to be this generous. Getting heartburn. Anyway, let's not dwell. As we always say in my household, if you don't have anything nice to say, then go and fuck yourself. So we're not here to talk about the promo that's already gone out. It's fine. It's happened. We're moving on. So this is what I would have done for a 45 to a minute long teaser trailer for the series, which we know RuPaul is famous for. I'm going to put up another video on the Patreon where I rank all of my all-time favorite promos for RuPaul's Drag Race because there are some stunners in the mix. A few things that come to mind. Obviously, you have the season 6 promo, which was all purple and black themed, where Ru turns into a puma at the end. They had a live puma on the set, and they never caught it. So, promo is obviously a big part of RuPaul's Drag Race. It always has been. It's part of the DNA. So, we want to do that for Australia. UK has been knocking it out of the park.
Never apologise for looking sickness.
So imagining that you're getting the brief from WoW or Stan or Warner Brothers New Zealand to make the promo for the show, the task ahead of you is to introduce Australia and New Zealand to the theory of Drag Race, the Drag Race Down Under season, to non-viewers, and then also the international audience to Australia and New Zealand. Because some of the things that I heard when I was in America that Americans think about Australia was perplexing. Oh, wow, you're from Australia? Oh, wow, I love Madagascar. Okay. For the existing promo, they have gone for a bit more of an outback feel, which, I guess sits well with, a lot of the world's impression of Australia, despite the fact that most of us live in coastal cities, and New Zealand doesn't really have that. There are deserts. There is a desert, I think, in New Zealand, but doesn't really look like that by and large. But anyway, they've gone for a highway feel. So we'll keep that, but let's just make it a little bit more specific. I think Australians are really used to, at this point, people thinking we are all Crocodile Dundee, that's not enough, this is a knife. So I guess we have to lean into it to a certain extent, at least because Ru seems to really like that about Australia. like Australiana. And that's not to say we're not bogans, but we're just not bogans that wrestle crocodiles by and large. Also, just like a little nitpick of mine, and I'll make this really short and brief, but like a lot of people have been coming online for the thing of like calling it Drag Race Down Under, which I get because Down Under is like used to refer to Australia and not New Zealand. However, no one has come up with a better suggestion because you can't call it RuPaul's Drag Race Australia New Zealand, and you can't, like, it's too long. You can't call it RuPaul's Drag Race Oceania. If you're telling me that like some drunk twink from Wyoming is going to type in RuPaul's Drag Race Oceania at like 12 in the night, you know, best lip syncs from RuPaul's Drag Race Oceania, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Down Under, while it is imperfect, is like the best option that we have, and I really feel for production on that one. So we're trying to create awareness around the show and awareness around the distinct flavor of Australia and New Zealand. So you kind of want to work with what your target audience's existing knowledge is of the place. So what better way to do that than to tap into some Australian and New Zealand classic pieces of film. First out the gate, we're going to open with a tribute to the film from the 1990s, Jane Campion's masterpiece, The Piano. A lot of you younger people might not know, but go and ask your like gay uncle, he'll understand what this is.
Come on! Go with me!
In the very start of the film, Holly Hunter's character has been sold by her father to a man in New Zealand. So she has to leave Scotland and come by boat to New Zealand in her full Victorian garb. And she's basically getting taken by a bunch of sailors across the sea, and they're taking and delivering all her stuff, and they're dumping it all on this like deserted beach in New Zealand. So this is our opening scene of our promo. We have the pit crew all rowing a boat, and then we have Ru and Michelle in like full Victorian garb with the bonnets and everything, and like all of their stuff, which would be like the giant framed pictures of Ru from the workroom and busts and like wigs in boxes, like, you know, a box that says like this way up and it's got like a little like spray painted like image of a wig on it. So then there's like this iconic moment where like the sailors all carry Holly Hunter's character and Anna Paquin's character like through the surf so that they don't get wet because they're like proper ladies. So this would be like Ru as Holly Hunter's character, the mother, and then Michelle as his daughter, which would be just so gorgeous and iconic. And then they like carry them through the surf, and like it's shot for shot recreation. This is where we're going to spend our money. We might even shoot it on film. I don't know. 35 mil. Who are we? So in my version, RuPaul gets like dumped down onto this New Zealand beach in this like cold, stormy weather, and like she's like looking around. She's got these like glassy doe eyes, and she's like, but she immediately doesn't, like she doesn't, it's very clear she doesn't know where she is, but she immediately just starts like trying to host the show. Like it's just like a muscle memory. So she's like, welcome to RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. And then stops, like something snaps inside of her, and then she's just kind of like looking around bewildered, and then like Michelle comes over to her and she's like, where are the girls? Where are the girls? And then Michelle's like, where are the girls? Where are the girls? To the sailors. And then like Reese Nicholson is like the captain of the sailors, and he comes over and he's like, I actually don't know. I think they were like up there somewhere, right? Something like that. Listen, we can work on the scripting, but then RuPaul's just like, oh. And Michelle's like, come on baby, come on. And she's like, where are the girls? Where are the girls? So then they walk off into the headland of like this like brutal New Zealand skyline. It would just be stunning, like through the scrub, and then we have maybe like a few shots of them like in this Victorian garb, like, and then like they come to like a small leafy road, and then Michelle like looks up because she senses something, you know, like Michelle, and she's like, and then like we see the road ahead, and it does like that classic like pull focus like from Lord of the Rings, and suddenly two black stallions with two like ring wraiths come charging. I said this because we're not going to get sued here. Two people in black cloaks like coming charging down. Then we hard cut to Ru and Michelle like sitting beneath the root in a, like homage to the classic Fellowship of the Rings moment, and then like you can hear like the two ring wraiths like, and then they like flip back their hoods, and it's Anita Wiglet and Keita Mean, the two New Zealand, like, I mean, like, there's 3 New Zealand girls, but these, like, 2 girls that work together all the time. They flip their hoods back, and they're like, so then I see this old guy, and he's like, you shall not pass. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I know. I thought I looked fucking hot. You do look hot, actually. Yeah. Meanwhile, I think Rupaul and Michelle Visage are just underneath this lock. You're joking. I do. I really do. Ru and Michelle are like looking up, like, so then they're like, hi, are you Rupaul and Michelle Visage? And Ru's like, yes. Are you the Down Under girls? I think we're lost. Oh, you think you're lost? Look at these stupid galahs over here. Or something like that. I'm really bad at a New Zealand accent, so I'm not going to insult anyone today by trying to do it. Like, you think you're lost? I don't know. I'm Kitty from Air New Zealand. That's the only thing I can do. And even that's terrible. I'm sorry, but no one from New Zealand is going to watch this. Anyway, so then they like point over and the camera whip pans and you hear this like eerie music. You see a gap between two rocks. Between the two rocks, we have three girls emerge and they're like walking through. And this is where we begin our homage to Picnic at Hanging Rock, the iconic Peter Weir film. If you haven't seen it, please go and do it. You will change your life. So they're walking through and it's Maxie Shield, Coco Jumbo, and Scarlett Adams, all dressed like Picnic at Hanging Rock girls. And they're like, listen, I might be wrong, but I thought it was around here. And then like, Maxie Shield's like, are you sure? Because we've been walking around in fucking petticoats and there's going to be a lot of swearing, but we'll just bleep it out. But you've got to have the swearing because it's Australia and New Zealand. We've been walking around in fucking petticoats for the last 4.5 hours. So what the fuck do you think is going on here? And they're like, oh. And then like Ru and Michelle are like, hard cut. They're all like hitchhiking out on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And they're just like trudging along. We've got like, you know, our cast so far, the 5 girls and Ru and Michelle, and Reese Nicholson can be there maybe. So then like a car pulls up, finally someone's gonna come and get them, and it's the truck from Wolf Creek, released in 2005, an iconic Australian horror film, also another great one that you should go and see. The window winds down and it's Miss Electra Shock, decked out in full Mick regalia, and he's like, you need a ride? And the girls are like, yeah. And then they all get into the car. So we've got packed out in the car, you know, got Ru and Michelle in the full bonnets. We've got the Picnic at Hanging Rock girls, and we've got 2 ring rates and Mick from Wolf Creek, and we're all driving along the road. You know, it's like really tense and quiet because he's obviously like a full out murderer, and he's like, so you girls like puppets? And then Ru's like, well, sure. Everybody likes puppets. And then suddenly they're just sitting there, they get bumped and jostled like, oh. And then you like whip hand turn and you see it's Miss Art Simone as Mad Max and as the blood bag tied to the front of Nicholas Holt's like deathmobile. So he's like, and she's got the like cage mask on, and Karen from Finance is driving the car, and they're like, oh, I think it is Ru and Michelle actually. And then Karen's like, oh yeah, I better put on my makeup. And she like pulls out the spray paint that the war boys use like when they're about to kill themselves and go to Valhalla, and like sprays her face, and she's like, it's a good shade on you, says Art from the front. And so like then up in the Wolf Creek car we might have like all the girls like, ah! And then Michelle is like, this is not how you drive. Let me show you how you fucking drive a car. And then she like is like, get out of the way. And then she pushes Electroshock out of the way. Michelle takes over the steering wheel, and then hard cut both cars, the Mad Max car and the Wolf Creek car, are like smoking by the side of the road, like completely broken down. All the girls out lined up on the side of the road. And then they're all like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And then Ru like looks up and is like, hey, the bus still running? And then we like whip pan again, and we've got the Priscilla bus from the iconic Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It doesn't really need more explanation than that. Go and seek it out, homosexuals, please. But we have Jojo Zaho like about to get back into the bus, and she turns around and she's like, oh, you girls need a lift? Oh yeah, come on. So then they all start tromping over to go and get in the bus, and then you hear like, car come too, and we like hard whip again, and like the Babadook is just standing there beside the road. So then like Babadook takes off her mask, and it's etc, and they're like, yeah, sure, get in, bitch. And so then they all tromp over to the bus, and like Ru is like holding a champagne bottle aloft in an exact recreation of this moment.
I hereby christen this budget Barbie camper Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
But in my version, Ru says, I now christen this bunch of camp budget Barbies RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. And then she smashes it on the side of the bus. Confetti comes out of the bottle and explodes. completely covering the screen as a transition wipe to all of the girls at dusk in the desert without the bus, just in an endless landscape with a road cutting through it, standing looking fierce and hot and sensual in full Annie Leibovitz gorgeousness. And I think because of, the Australian theme, what we will be doing is having the color theme be like earth tones and sunset tones. We've had a lot of pink, we've had a lot of muted pastels throughout the seasons. We've had silver, we've had gold, we've had the whole thing. But because this is Australia, New Zealand, I think we can do the full earth tone, and that will be like a point of difference visually that will like make the thread that goes through the rest of the communication about the season. Because something that I couldn't understand or get behind about the season 1 promo was like the visual of the promo is like midday, not a cloud in the sky, sun. I don't know if you know any drag queens, but if you see 10 drag queens outside at midday, it is pride or a gay bar has just been evacuated. There is no other good reason that a drag queen would go out in full sun, let me tell you. Trust and believe. So that's what I would have done for the promotion of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 1. And God willing, I won't have this much time on my hands when Season 2 rolls around because I'll be on the show. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. On the Beastie Girls Patreon, I'll be counting down my top picks for best promo of all time. Okay, bye!